Hey, good Tuesday morning. Rev here this morning. I hope you're safe and well and blessed this morning, and that you're ready to be a witness for Jesus. I am reading to you today from the Gospel according to St. John. This is chapter 18, and I'm going to read verses 33 through 37. Pilate then went back inside the palace, summoned Jesus, and asked him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" "Is that your own idea?" Jesus asked, "or did others talk to you about me?" "Am I a Jew?" Pilate replied. "It was your people and your chief priests who handed you over to me. What is it you have done?" Jesus said, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my servants would fight to prevent my arrest by the Jews. But now my kingdom is from another place." "You are a king then," said Pilate. Jesus answered, "You are right in saying I am a king. In fact, for this reason I was born, and for this I came into the world, to testify to the truth. Everyone on the side of truth listens to me." This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There was a college student who needed a small, just a 2-hour course to fill up his schedule, and there was only one that really fit, and it was wildlife zoology. And he had some reservations about the classes. He had heard that the course was tough and the teacher was a bit different. But it seemed like the only choice, so he signed up. And after 1 week and 1 chapter, the professor had a test for the class. And he passed it out, and it was a sheet of paper divided into squares, and in each square was a carefully drawn picture of some bird legs. Not bodies, not feet, just legs. So the test simply asked them to identify the bird from the pictures of their legs. Well, this student, he was just absolutely floored. And he didn't have a clue. And the student sat and he stared at the test, and he just got madder and he got madder. And finally he reached this boiling point, and he just stomped to the front of the classroom and threw the test paper onto the teacher's desk, and he said, "This is the worst test I have ever seen, and this is the dumbest class I've ever taken." And the teacher looked up at him and he said, "Young man, you just flunked your test." And then the teacher picked up the paper, saw that the student hadn't written his name on it, and he says, "What is your name?" And at that, the student bent over and he pulled up his pant legs and said, "You identify me." Pilate is trying to figure out the true identity of Jesus. "Are you the king of the Jews?" he asks. And Jesus, he didn't try to hide who he was. And so he challenges Pilate a little bit here to think this through for himself. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure out that just looking at Jesus was enough to show that a dangerous rebel existed only in the imaginations of Jesus' enemies. Excuse me. And it's really easy for us, in retrospect, to think that it should have just been a no-brainer. But these people who brought Jesus before Pilate, they just didn't understand. And that they thought that Jesus was going to overthrow the government and force the people to live under his political rule. But when Jesus starts telling Pilate that his kingdom was not of this world, Pilate kind of starts to relax. there's an old proverb that says, it's an old Latin proverb, and it says, the lust of power is the strongest of all passions. And so Pilate says, you are a king then. And Jesus answers Pilate, kind of like my favorite character in the movie Jungle Book, Baloo the bear, which his trademark answer was always, you better believe it. And Jesus didn't say it exactly in those words, but that's essentially what he is saying here. Jesus has come to reveal the truth of an everlasting kingdom, to make it plain by word and deed and life that his loving Father is the gracious sovereign of life, over all life. And everyone who hears and accepts the truth hears Jesus. Jesus knew exactly who he was. He was, he is, and always will be the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. He proved that on the cross. He proved it on the third day when he rose from the dead. He rose victorious over sin. He rose victorious over death. He rose victorious over hell. Jesus Christ is the King. And that is the wonderful truth that he came to reveal here on earth. And everyone who's on the side of the truth listens to Jesus the King. So we have a decision that we have to make. Back in the 60s, almost said the old days, which these are, back in the 60s and 70s, there was a song, I think it was late 60s, might have been early 70s. Anyway, it was a song recorded by Bob Dylan. The song was entitled, You Gotta Serve Somebody. And part of the lyrics went, it might be the devil or it might be the Lord, but you gotta serve somebody. So who are you serving today? You're either for Jesus or you're against him. There's no middle of the road. You're either hot or you're cold, Jesus says. You gotta serve somebody. People may reject, they may hate Christ. They may judge Christ not worthy to be the Lord of their lives. They may try to get rid of Christ by pushing him away and having nothing to do with him. But they cannot change the fact that Jesus Christ still came to love them and to save them. And in the final analysis, they will all be judged by him. He is the King. Who are you going to serve? I'm Pastor Mark. Love you guys. Be safe, be well, be blessed, be strong. Go do something for Jesus, and I'll see you tomorrow.